Mandela proceeded on an African tour and then to Sweden, where he was reunited with Oliver Tambo.
Oliver Tambo, Walter Sisulu, then Alfred Enzo, who was the Secretary General in exile, they all were that generation of leaders who really were providing the energy to the struggle. And Oliver Tambo went into exile. I think it was part of the ANC strategy. So was Enzo. But Oliver Tambo was the president in exile. But Mandela became the symbol, the face, the voice of the struggle, particularly in the context of the solidarity of the world with the struggle.
Nelson Mandela.
He then went to London, where he appeared at the Nelson Mandela Tribute Concert in Wembley Stadium. At a meeting of the Organization of the African Unity in Senegal, he called for a special session of the UN Security Council and proposed that a UN peacekeeping force be stationed in South Africa to prevent state terrorism. The UN subsequently sent a special envoy to aid negotiations. The negotiations agreed that a multiracial general election will be held, resulting in a 5-year coalition government of national unity and a constitutional assembly that gave the National Party continuing influence. The ANC conceded to safeguarding the jobs of white civil servants that brought fierce criticism internally. They agreed to an interim constitution guaranteeing separation of powers, creating a constitutional court, and including a US-style Bill of Rights. It also divided the country into 9 provinces, each with its own premier and civil service. A concession between de Klerk's desire for federalism and Mandela's for unitary government. In July 1993, both Mandela and de Klerk visited the United States independently, meeting President Bill Clinton and each receiving the Liberty Medal. Soon after, they were jointly awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in Norway. Influenced by young ANC leader Thabo Mbeki, Mandela began meeting with big business figures and played down his support for nationalization, fearing that he would scare away much-needed foreign investment.
All that I want is that the economic system should be able to perform very well in the sense of guaranteeing full employment, maximum production, and the generation of a social consciousness which enables the economy to attend to the living conditions of the people.
Mandela became President of South Africa on 10th May 1994. He served as the first President of South Africa from 1994 to 1999 to hold the office in a fully representative multiracial election. It was a government of national unity dominated by the ANC, which had no experience of governance, but containing representatives of the National Party and the Inkatha. His government symbolized the great victory over apartheid and set up the foundation for dismantling institutionalized racism, poverty, and inequality.
Never, never, and never again shall it be that this beautiful land will again experience the oppression of one by another.
It's important also for people to know that Mandela never wanted to assume the office of president. It was the decision of the ANC leadership when he himself had said that he would rather guide, or as he was, like the father or the mentor, the leader. But he took the office and he realized that he had an enormous responsibility. It was good that he was the first president because only he could achieve. He took over the leadership of a country which was bruised, brutalized by decades and decades of violence under apartheid regime. There was denial, there was deprivation, there was a lot of anger, bitterness, but Mandela was above all this. He provided the healing touch and set up the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. And that ensured that post-apartheid South Africa could live in harmony, in peace, and not have violent convulsions.
They did so by fostering racial reconciliation. In keeping with earlier agreements, de Klerk became the first deputy president and Thabo Mbeki was selected as the second. Despite his opulent surroundings, Mandela lived a simple life, donating a third of his 552,000 rand annual income to the Nelson Mandela Children's Fund, which he had founded in 1995. In December 1994, Mandela's autobiography, Long Walk to Freedom, was finally published. In late 1994, he attended the 49th conference of the ANC in Bloemfontein, at which a more militant national executive was selected, among them Winnie Mandela. Although she had expressed an interest in reconciling, Nelson Mandela initiated divorce proceedings in August 1995. The Truth and Reconciliation Commission investigated crimes committed under apartheid by both the government and the ANC, with Desmond Tutu as its chair. It granted individual amnesties in exchange for testimonies of crimes committed during the apartheid era. Mandela's administration inherited a country with a huge disparity in wealth and services between the white and black communities.
We understand it still that there is no easy road to freedom. We know it well that none of us acting alone can achieve success. We must therefore act together as a united people for national reconciliation, for nation building, for the birth of a new world. Let there be justice for all. Let there be peace for all. The sun shall never set on so glorious a human achievement. Let freedom reign.
Around 23 million people lacked electricity or sanitation. 12 million lacked clean water. 2 million children were not in school, and a third of the population was illiterate. He increased welfare by 33% in 3 years. In 1994, he introduced free health care for children under 6 and pregnant women, a provision extended to all using public sector health services in 1996. By the 1999 election, the ANC policy saw 3 million people connected to telephone lines, 1.5 million children in the education system, 500 clinics upgraded or built, 2 million people connected to the electricity grid, water access extended to 3 million people, and 750,000 houses constructed, housing nearly 3 million people. There were a series of landmark legislations like the Land Restitution Act of 1994, which led to settlement of tens of thousands of land claims. The Land Reform Act 3 of 1996 safeguarded the rights of labour tenants on farms. The Labour Relations Act of 1995 promoted workplace democracy. The Skills Development Act of 1998 established mechanisms to finance and promote skills development at the workplace. The Basic Conditions of Employment Act 1997 and the Employment Equity Act of 1998 put an end to unfair discrimination and ensured affirmative action in the workplace.
When I told one of my advisors a few months ago that I wanted to retire, he growled at me, "Goat, you are retired." If that is really the case, then I should say, I now announce that I'm retiring from retirement.
You are the living legend, the greatest Gandhian of our age. You have transformed the lives of millions and millions of people, and watch the miracle that you have done in South Africa of reconciling the irreconcilable. I think is the path that will lead in all of us in the 20th century away from the troubled existence in which the world finds it today. I salute you on behalf of the people of India. We love you.
A visit to South Africa for me as an Indian is a pilgrimage. And coming here and without calling on Madiba, the visit would not be complete.
This country's historic transition to a free and democratic nation has been a personal inspiration to me. It has been an inspiration to the world, and it continues to be in so many regions that are divided by conflict, sectarian disputes, religious or ethnic wars. To see what happened in South Africa, the power of principle and people standing up for what's right, I think continues to shine as a beacon.
He has stood tall, and very proudly so, at a time when there has been a serious crisis of leadership in the world. Nelson Mandela also is a man of compassion and profound humility, something which I have personally known during my meetings with him.
He accepted power for 5 years, the first president of New South Africa, I would call it, and doesn't want a second term. How many people are there who don't want a second term?
What came across very powerfully to me, when I first met him physically in Morogoro establishment of the ANC on the 10th of March 1990. He was released from prison he came out on the 11th of February when he addressed the rally in Cape Town. But say within a month we met, and as we were talking with Mandela, there was not even a trace of rancor or bitterness. And he said, in fact, that in reference to the captors or those who were the instruments of the apartheid regime, he said that, well, they had a constitution which we never accepted, which was illegal and against humanity. But those who acted under that believed they were doing their duty. The fight, therefore, was against the unjust system and not against people.
Every nation in the world holds this icon of freedom in the highest esteem. He is the recipient of over 250 awards, including the Nobel Peace Prize in 1993, the US Presidential Medal of Freedom and the Soviet Order of Lenin. Soon after his release, India was the first country to bestow on him our highest civilian honor, the Bharat Ratna, in 1990. He was the first non-Indian to receive this honor. He was also earlier bestowed with the Nehru Award for International Understanding in 1979 and the Indira Gandhi Award for International Justice and Harmony in 1996. Mandela is the father of the South African nation. He's the very soul of South Africa, where he's often referred to by his Xhosa name, Madiba.
I am not a speaker at all, and I'm not going to make any exception on this occasion, except to say thank you for all that you have done for me.